You are listening to the Retina UK online London local peer support group meeting recorded Saturday 19th of March 2022.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining. My name is Mark Baxter. I'm new to Retina UK. I've been with the charity as a member of staff for just over 6 months as the information and support coordinator for our talk and support service and the local peer support groups that we are relaunching from last year, throughout last year, and new groups this year as well. I work with Denise in the information support team, as well as Matthew Carr, as many of you may know Matthew as well, as we obviously provide information and support for our community. I'll start out from my background. I've got RP. I was diagnosed with RP when I was about 9 years old, just before my 9th birthday. Parents thought that my brother and I were just clumsy, tripping over chairs, tripping over the dog, and it was only when we went to just a normal sight test when the optician said, I think there's something quite a little bit wrong here. That was actually about 3 weeks before we were due to go to Australia. And it was our first trip on a jumbo jet, and we got the opportunity to sit in the cockpit of a jumbo jet, a Boeing 747, which was just an amazing experience for me to see all of those buttons, to sit in that control. And it just gave me a passion for flying. And for some reason, I just got the bug, and all I wanted to be was a pilot. I wanted to fly my own plane, fly my own choppers. And that was really what I wanted to do. The Royal Air Force is where I wanted to start my career. As a young teenager, though, that slide started to dwindle as my peripheral vision and my night vision become much poorer. And by the time I was 15, I got the realization that there was no chance that I was ever going to be behind a wheel of a car, let alone the cockpit of my own plane. So that was something that hit me quite hard, as you can imagine, as being a little teenager. But then I thought to myself, I'm not going to let my sight loss beat me. I'm going to find a new way to get up in the air. And I found a new, shall we say, a dream or passion of air travel. And it's not what you would usually expect, not the conventional way of tray tables, in-flight movies and duty-free. My experiences of air travel after that was to throw myself out of an aeroplane. So at the age of 17, I did my very first skydive as a fundraising challenge for the National Deaf Children's Society. And I got not only the bug for challenges which pushed me out of my comfort zones, and thought to myself, well, sight loss is not going to stop me doing the things I wanted to do. It was also a great way of raising funds for great causes, to support worthwhile charities. And in the end, I just started to do more and more fundraising. It was a great way to meet new people, to share my experiences. And starting with my first skydive, then that kind of led on to other kind of aerial slides across reservoirs for the RNIB. I did my very first running challenge, which the London Marathon back in 2005 for RP fighting blindness as they were back then. And then in 2009, I was very, very lucky to be a part of the first pioneering trek to the Sahara Desert. That was our very first international trek, which was filmed by Channel 4, which ended up being converted into a Retina UK or RP Fighting Blindness information DVD, which I was very, very, very lucky and proud to be a part of that. So RP Fighting Blindness, Retina UK went on to do many, many more treks after that. And Chris can vouch for the second Sahara trek, if he was one of the trekkers on that one as well. So he can share his experience of how amazing those experiences are meeting new people, putting yourself out of your comfort zone, just experiencing new sights if you've still got vision, new feelings, new senses of smell, new senses of taste. You know, it just heightens all of these. And then I just got the bug for trekking. It kept me fit, it kept me active, it kept me outdoors. So I've done the Three Peaks Challenge in 2015. That was my next one. Then Iceland Trek in 2016. And then most recently, the Mont Blanc Tour, which sent me through 3 different countries in 4 days, Italy, France and Switzerland, which was another great experience as well. The different sounds, the cowbells, walking through snow. It was just amazing to be a part of that group as well. And then after sort of fundraising, I did a few bits of fundraising for my previous employer, Sense. I did a wing walk as well, so I kept back up in the air. I've done 4 skydives in total. My latest one was last year in August from 15,000 feet, which sent me to the Lake District to do that one, reaching speeds of up to 140 miles an hour for a full minute. That was an experience that would just last absolutely ever. So if anyone is a bit of adrenaline junkie and they do like a thrill, I definitely recommend having a go at that. But it does scare your guide dogs, so maybe leave them on the ground. They don't like skydiving guide dogs, I don't think. So definitely leave your guide dog on the ground with someone safe. So, but yeah, it is just an amazing experience to fundraise. Like I say, you get to learn a lot of new things. You learn new skills. You get to meet new people. You share experiences. You just get to explore. You get outside as well, which is over the last couple of years, a lot of us have all been cooped up. So it is definitely a good way to meet people, you know, and raise these crucial funds at the same time. So after still fundraising for Retina UK, but now as a volunteer, I started on the helpline 2.5 years ago, as some of my colleagues are as well. Again, I got to meet new people through volunteering, our information days, our training weekends. Again, got to share a lot of experiences with my volunteering colleagues. And then about 18 months ago, I started on the talk and support service, which was a more of a one-to-one sharing experience to help guide people through their sight loss journey, however it may have been, you know, what part of the journey they are, what stage they're at, what kind of impact points that they're at the moment, some of the challenges and frustrations they're feeling. And we kind of work through it together because, like myself, I'm living with sight loss. I'm sharing these same experiences to people that I speak to as well. So we're all going through them, and it's just nice to share those experiences as well. And then, like I say, 6 months ago, I was very, very lucky to join the team of just an amazing team at Retina UK and a team of amazing volunteers. And we're recruiting new volunteers all the time with, you know, likes of Chris and Kim, who's going to be our new facilitator for the Belfast local peer group, which will be our first online meeting will be on the 5th of April. So I'm very, very looking forward to that as well. So yeah, it's just been an absolute sort of whirlwind over the last sort of 20 odd years with my sight deteriorating as much as it is. I'm got no vision in my right eye now, and I've got some vision left in my left eye, but I still need to be guided, or I still need to go out of my white cane, which I've started doing cane training as well, which has given me more independence to get out and about, and sort of just go down the shops and not be so reliant on my wife all the time. So it's living with sight loss is not the be all and end all. We have other senses. It's just up to us to be able to manipulate and adapt those other senses to become our new sense of vision. And it doesn't mean that you can't do things. It just means that we have to do them a slightly different way to everybody else. You know, and if you've got things out there that you want to experience or you want to try, then, you know, don't let the fact that you've got no vision stopping you from doing that. You know, like I say, skydiving, you don't need sight to be able to do that, because all your other senses just take control, and they actually paint you a picture of what you're experiencing on the way down. You know, and not only that, you're with an instructor, and he will explain to you some of the views that you can see. You know, so when I did my last skydive, I could see, it was such a clear day, and I could see all the way to Blackpool. You know, but I can actually see that he was describing everything to me, which still paints that picture. Yeah, definitely give new experiences, new challenge. Always challenge yourself as well, because that keeps your mind positive. It keeps you inspired, and not only that, it inspires other people as well. It leads to opportunities. So I said that I'll never ever get the opportunity to be in a cockpit. I'm actually very lucky that I'm going to be doing my very first flying lesson this year as well, in August, which was a birthday present, and also got the opportunity to have a go in a stunt plane as well, you know, and that was just through fundraising challenges, speaking to the pilot, and he just said to me, "You sound like such an optimistic guy. Do you want to go up in one of my planes with me?" And me being me, jumped for the chance, and went for it. So we were barrel rolling, we were depth diving, we were looping the loop, you know, doing all of these fantastic things in this plane that's no wider than a living room. You know, it's again, and it's an experience that, you know, nothing, no matter how much my sight deteriorates, that is a memory that will never ever disappear. So there is nothing that you guys can't achieve. You know, if you've got dreams out there, you know, just go out there and get them. Has anyone got any questions or anything they want to ask me?
Yeah, Mark, Mark, Jack from Bangor.
You're
Mark, it's very inspirational, and I agree with you entirely. You've got to push yourself beyond your limits. But on your Iceland trek, was there a chap there called Ken Carson from Bangor?
No,
with his daughter as a guide.
No, Ken.
No,
I don't think we had a Ken. It was run by a company called Expedition Wise, and their group leader was a chap called Brian Jackson. He taught me so much. He was such an inspirational chap, and he just said, look, don't let your limits deter you from your dreams, you know. And some of the words he come out, every sentence he come out with was like a bumper sticker, you know. He could make a fortune out of that industry. But with me, it's all about opportunity as well. So when people learn about your stories, it kind of just takes a tangent. I'm very much a campaigner as well. When working for Sense, I was very big on campaigning, especially things like loneliness, isolation, and we did a couple of campaigns back in 2017, which led me to have an interview with somebody who was writing a book called, it was by a chap called Nick Durden, and it's a book called A Life Less Lonely. And in 2018, that was published with my story in it, my life story. So, you know, it's so nice to have my experiences literally written into the history books. And if anyone wants to find that book, it's on Amazon, both in hardback, in paperback and audio book as well. And it's just a fantastic, inspirational stories, individual stories about people's tribulations, struggles, frustrations, and also their positive experiences as well. So if you love a read, it's definitely worth looking out for that book. And if you want further details on that, just sort of ping us an email, and I'll send you a link where you can actually get that from. So it's very, very inspirational read.
Mark, I mean, when we send out the email, could we share that link with everyone?
Yeah, certainly can.
Yeah, because that sounds really incredible. Does anyone else have any questions for Mark, or just comments?
Yes, Mark, you just made me smile throughout your share. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I mean, it is so inspirational to actually hear of somebody jumping out of a plane and going for a flying lesson. Excuse me. I mean, like, I'm absolutely blown away. And, you know, it's the positivity is just magnificent. That's what we all need, isn't it? You know, it's just It's so beautiful. Life is exquisite, and you grabbing it by the horns and just enjoying the ride, because it is so amazing. Yeah,
and that's what it is. That's what it is, Kim.
it is.
It's a ride. You know, it's a ride that has its ups and its downs. You know, like sight loss has knocked me down mentally. It's knocked me down physically, and it's knocked me down emotionally. But I've always lived.
Yeah.
I've always lived by, you know, whatever knocks you down, you get up stronger. You know, it makes you wiser. Like Denise said, it makes you resilient. It just empowers attributes like grit, determination, enthusiasm, because you always feel like you're perhaps weaker than your fellow colleague or your fellow man or anything like that. So you feel like you have to push yourself that little bit harder, that little bit faster to try and keep up with everyone. We shouldn't have to feel like that way, but it is what makes us who we are. And, you know, I probably wouldn't be where I am today, sitting in front of you lovely people having this conversation, if it wasn't for the fact that I was losing my vision.
Yeah, exactly. But also it's not an easy journey. But I mean that you coming up, I'm sure all of us are going to go through even more hardships. But you know what? The support we have within each other gives us hope, and that we will be okay if we all just support each other and look after each other. Exactly. I love what you say.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. It's we learn off each other. We learn off each other's experiences and the things that we share with one another. Absolutely. Does anyone else have any comments or questions for Mark? Or perhaps want to share something that they've done?
I can share a few bits if you want, Vinny. It's Chris.
Yeah, go for it.
Obviously, well, I mean, I got diagnosed with RP when I was 29, so I was already driving and doing things like that. So I don't know if that's different from some of the folks on here. So it's obviously a bit later than I think is the norm. And yeah, for me, it was about, say, finding other people with RP. It took me quite a few years to even meet another person with RP. There wasn't any history of it in the family. And then getting involved a little bit, hearing about Retina UK. I mean, first of all, I didn't feel that I wanted being part of Retina UK, because initially my eyes were still good enough to drive. So I didn't actually feel that it would be a bit embarrassing if I drove and turned up to a meeting. Goodness me. So I did keep away because I just didn't feel that I fitted in. But then I sort of lost my driving license. Then there were sort of things change in life, and then I fitted in my opinion, better. Got involved with a charity. Then the second trek came around that Mark alluded to in his piece earlier. And at that point, I haven't met Mark. I just heard of the infamous, famous. What should we call you, Mark? What descriptor would you like?
Crazy. I had a reputation by then, Chris. I think I don't know why, to be quite honest.
I think we know why. But no, it was all good. And that was one of the things I wanted to do, because it's, for me, like I say, it's about meeting other people. I was still earlier in that journey of losing my eyesight, even though I was in what I've been then sort of mid to late 30s. And I knew there was going to be people on the trek who were much further on in that journey and progression of sight loss. And seeing those people take exactly the same steps as I did over the 5 days, succeed just as much as I succeeded with worse eyesight than I had, that to me was a huge inspiration for me, almost looking into my future, saying, no, I can still do stuff. And then made friendships for life with many of the people there, other opportunities. One of the guys, Aaron, he mentioned about visually impaired sports. So I'm fairly sporty, so I got into that. So I mean, I've represented my county at cricket and my country at tennis. I mean, I've won 2 world championships playing tennis.
Wow!
But if I was fully sighted, I would be still hacking a ball around at the local club. Yeah. So, I mean, you say, there are downsides to being visually impaired, absolutely. But there are other things I've done in life that have been really positive because of it. So, yeah, some bit of hope is my attitude towards life. I don't give up, like Mark, and I'm sure most of the people on here. But there are opportunities out there if you're willing and able to take them. So, yeah, so I'm not going to jump out of a plane with you, Mark. You're on your own then. With a guide dog with a cane, I'm not doing that. But yeah, those sort of things. Yeah, a lot of it is, your own attitude, I think, but it helps when you've got people around you, the meetups for Retina UK, those sort of things, to really give that support and the ideas. You know, do you know that Retina UK exists? Do you know that these sporting opportunities exist? These experiences exist? If you don't know they exist, then you can't do them. Oh, is that Daisy or Colin who's got a comment?
No,
He's muted, so it must be.
I've just let Daisy out, so she's not whinging anymore. So
that's Ruby. Sorry, she wants me to take her for a walk. But that's so wonderful, and I'm learning blind golf at the moment, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I've always wanted to play golf, and here's my opportunity with people to fetch the ball for me. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And all these opportunities, yeah, that you may not have even realised when your sight was better necessarily, but yeah, in my opinion, they are out there, and I think we're lucky as well. Society, I think, has moved on a lot in the last 10, 20 years. The acceptance, the technology is a massive advantage as well. Audio description, all these inverting colours of software we're all using these days, that wasn't there 20 years ago. So, I mean, would we want to have their vision impairments? I would say no, but I always say actually it's not a worse time either to be going blind. Actually, we've got a lot of support out there, and I say I'm quite lucky if I go to London with my cane. I've had very, very few negative experiences. I appreciate you guys might have some negative experiences, but vast majority of my experiences are I actually see the kindness in people. Maybe it's a vision, maybe I don't see the negativity, maybe that literally is a blind spot and I don't see it, but that's fine. But obviously I see the bits where people come up to me. If I pause for like 3 seconds to try and work out where I'm going on the tube, more often than not, someone will come up to me and say, "Oh, do you need a hand there? Do you know where you're going?" So I see a lot of positivity there. So that helps me sort of keep going as well. I'm going to stop talking, let someone else have a go.
Yeah, and I think that's what a massive thing, that the white cane, it is such a big thing to actually start using it. But once you do, you actually feel that people are more approachable. People approach you more, ask for help, and life is a little bit more positive because you don't have to keep explaining yourself. You don't have to go around acting, well, not acting, but people have that assumption that, right, there's that drunk lady again, or there's that clumsy woman again. It does a lot of explaining without you actually having to do so as well.
Yeah, it's like what Jack said earlier. I mean, I can still be blind, stupid, and drunk at the same time. I can be all 3 of those things and more, but I can still be blind as well. Yes,
yes,
it's a good excuse.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Chris. It's really good, and like you say, and there's so many sports out there which have been made accessible, adapted and things like that, like cricket, for example, and I forgot what bowls, things like that. I've tried curling, like I really love, and it's just incredible the way things have adapted for us, and it's great that we can take advantage of them. Does anyone else have any questions for anything that you've heard today, or want to share something that you may want to share with the other group members?
Well, I'll butt in for a while.
Go ahead.
I've been so active all my life. I've 22 years in the British Army, overseas mainly, and 22 years in South Africa. And in South Africa, I was lucky enough to be a yacht skipper, and I skippered the private fishing boats. I did a bit of horse riding, sailing, a lot of sailing. And when I lost my eyesight, it hit me very, very hard. But I've been so in motorbike riding as well, by the way. And it hit me very, very hard. And I just, I lost all my confidence. I haven't got it all back yet. But with Blind Veterans UK, they have got things called activities weeks. And as Chris said, actually, it's something to push you, and Mark, to try and push you beyond your limits, make you do things you would not normally do. And I've done some things like the rock climbing, abseiling, canoeing, sea kayaking, surfing, high wires, low wires, dragon boat racing, raft building, things sort of team sports, should we say. But also, you might be aware, and particularly Mark and Chris might like this as well, Visa GB, Visually Impaired Sailing Association of Great Britain. Now, they do a week every year, normally from Falmouth or Southampton, and lately from Galston and Glasgow, where they take a number of blind people on yachts. And the very first one I did was, there was 23 yachts, I think 50 odd visually impaired stroke blind people, and about 80 odd skippers and crew. And we sailed around around Cornwall. And that comes up once a year. It's very, very good, actually. The other odd thing that I've done, one of my sons, I was living in South Africa, and one of my sons bought me a quad bike. It was my son in Russia, actually, when he was working over there. And I said to his brother, does your brother not know that I can't see? He says, yes, Dad, but he knows you're going to ride it anyway. And I did. So anyway, but I try and do the best I can anyway, but I do get around quite a bit if I can. Thanks, folks.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
I have a question for Mark, actually. I don't know where you get your, I don't know what to call it. It's not energy, but the thought of flying out of a plane and doing some of the things you've talked about scares me to death. Like, I can't even imagine doing that. Where did it come from? Like, how did you start thinking this is what I enjoy? And for someone like me, perhaps, how would you convince me to give it a go?
I don't know. I don't know. It's the difference between positivity and negativity. I'm not saying negativity in a bad way. You just look at life slightly different. It's a case of when someone says to you, do you want to jump out of a plane? You immediately think, well, what happens if my parachute doesn't open? Or, you know, you think of the fight and flight concept. You know, I'm looking out for my own well-being. I think it may be danger ahead. Whereas a positive person might think, this is going to be an amazing experience. I'm in great hands. I'm with a trained professional. You know, the chances are that, you know, it's a 1 in a million chance that your parachute could fail, but then most parachutes have got 3 parachutes in them, just in case one fails, you've got backups, you know. And all of my instructors, like the last one, he was a military paratrooper, and he's done over 13,000 jumps, and one of them from 26,000 feet, including night jumps as well. So when you look at that, you think, well, okay, you know, if heaven forbid something goes wrong, you can't fight fate. But I want to take that risk, you know, because you could think back and think, do you know what, I had that opportunity to do something and I passed it down, and then you don't know where you might turn up. So if I said to myself, do you know what, I'm too frightened to do my very first skydive, you don't know where your life might turn or what route or avenue you might go down. So, and then I just got the bug for it. I love the thrill of it. I love the experience. And every single skydive that I've done, they've all been completely different because they've been in different locations. They've been in different environments. My third skydive, it was in January in Maidstone, and it was -6 on the floor. It was -15 when we got to our altitude, and it was -25 when I was in free fall. And that just changed the experience completely, you know, and it made the adrenaline level just go through the roof, you know, it buried the needle. And you just think, I just want to go up there and do it again, you know. And I'm this year I'm planning on my second skywalk, wing walk for Retina UK. So I'm going to be doing my second wing walk. It'll be the first one for Retina UK, because I just like, one, I love being up in the air. There's no lampposts. There's nothing to trip over up there. There's no lamppost to walk into or anything like that. You just feel you feel free, you know. And it's very, very hard to describe. It's one of those things you have to experience it for yourself. For you to actually fully appreciate, you know, what the experience is. So don't ever let your inhibitions or your emotions take control of some of the things that you really want to do. Just like you say, like we've said, grab it by the horns, you know, and go for it. You know, and I doing some of the things I've done have actually put me into some situations where I thought, oh, what have I got myself into here? We did in 2016, we did a charity fun run It was a superhero fun run, and there's still pictures probably floating around the office at the moment of me rocking up. The first time I'd ever met the fundraising manager at the time, or coordinator at the time, and I stripped down into a superhero outfit, blue underpants, and it was a Retina UK Superman style outfit that I created to represent RP fighting blindness at the time. And then they said to me after the fun run, would you mind wearing that to be a mascot at the expo for the London Marathon? So there's me walking around London in front of 30,000 people dressed in blue underpants. But the response that we got was phenomenal. I got so many photographs taken with me. And to be quite fair, I wasn't the most embarrassing costume there. I actually got a photograph of someone dressed as a shoe. So I didn't have the most embarrassing costume, but you just don't know where one experience might lead you. So, you know, it's all about the opportunity, and losing my vision has definitely given me plenty of those, and lots of fun memories as well. I still got the costume. I don't think I'll be able to fit into it quite as well as I did in 2016, but it does, and it's not only that, it puts a smile on people's faces when they see it. You know, even my brother said to me, he said, Mark, you're absolutely mental, but you have got, you know, something of steel. I have to give it to you, you know. So, you know, it's just one of those things, you know, that, yeah, and I wouldn't stop doing it for the world. You know, if they said to me, Mark, we want you to do this, yeah, just sign me up.
Well, Mark, I've got to say, when we have our next face-to-face meeting, I think you should rock up in that costume.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Oh, no.
But don't dress as a shoe.
No, the Superman costume. I think you've got to do it.
We need a photographer there, Bhavini, if you do.
Yeah, I don't mind arranging that. We definitely need it.
And I think, Bhavini, in answer to your question to Mark, I think you've got to be a bit mad. I think you've got to be just a bit crazy as well.
Yeah, that is it. I mean,
does anyone else have any comments or questions?
Didn't you do a racing car? You went driving racing cars, didn't you, around a circuit?
That was a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to drive.
No.
I did start, like, I think I started taking lessons. Hold on, I'm going to go somewhere quiet. Sorry about that. Yeah, so I've always wanted like a red Lamborghini. That was always my dream. Oh, and then my husband came across blind experience driving. So they had a choice of a Lamborghini. It wasn't red, it was black, but it was still a Lamborghini. They had an Aston Martin and a Ferrari. So I had to get in the Lamborghini, and you're literally driving. But of course, you've got an instructor beside you, you know, has controls of the steering and the brake and all that kind of stuff. But you spend half an hour on the track, you know, going round, and, you know, I think I went up to 125 miles per hour.
No
and I
way.
think that was the buzz and the thrill for me.
I want to do that. That's incredible. Congratulations.
Yeah, if I can interject for a second, Blind Veterans UK. There's a chap there called Billy Baxter, Mad Billy Baxter, completely blind, and he holds the world speed record for a blind person, 165 miles per hour on a motorcycle.
Oh my
wow!
And he's driven around Silverstone. Actually, I think he's driven a rally car with an instructor beside him. And with the blind sailing, you wear ear headphones, and you get a different pitch if you're going too far to the left port or too far to the right starboard. And the same thing applies actually on motorbike. If it's quiet, you're in a straight line. But this guy's absolutely nuts. So it just shows you what you can do.
Totally. Wow.
You say his name, Jack, with Billy Baxter?
Yeah, Billy Baxter.
It must be something in the surname then. No relation.
So it sounds like it's related to you, definitely.
No relation, but it must be something to do with the Scottish heritage.
It must be a relation of yours.
Yeah, it could be a distant relative. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Distant cousin or something.
It's great when your nickname's Mad, isn't it? That tells you everything you need to know. But
Ravini, when you just a question to you, when you got to 125 miles an hour, that feeling of going fast, it's quite a euphoric feeling, and I bet you just wanted to do it again, didn't you?
I've been saying I want it is quite expensive. Well, I think it was 150 or 175 pounds just for that little short experience. But you know what? If it's something you were interested in, well, for me, I really wanted to do it, so I did, and I do want to do it again, even though I know it's quite expensive for a short time. But do you know what? If I'm honest, I didn't realize I was actually going that fast until the instructor said to me, do you know how fast you're going? So, you know, he kept telling me we're at 70, you know, you can push it down a little bit more. And we're at 85, we're at 100. I'm like, what? Like, what's the fastest I can go? He goes up to 125. And he goes, I'll let you know when you want to put your foot down completely. I'm like, please do it. But you know what? I couldn't tell. Like, I remember I couldn't actually tell I was going that speed. To me, it was just exhilarating.
Oh, please can you put the link in how one can do that or where one can do that? I've always wanted to do that. Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you. Oh, beautiful. Jeepers. Well, that's a memory. That's a memory that you'll never forget, even though it was whatever it cost. You know, that's so stunning. Oh, my word.
No, it is. And I got my husband to record it. So there's a YouTube video about it.
Really? Send the link to that too. Oh, that's fantastic.
So, Vinny, roughly how long were you kind of driving the car for?
I think that in the actual car, it was only like 12 minutes, like less than 15 minutes. So the actual experience in the car is not that long. And that's why I say for a short time, it is quite a bit of money, but it's something I really wanted to do.
I just wondered, if it's like 1 lap, 2 laps, 5 laps.
Oh, no, I think it was about, I think I must have gone around at least 10 times.
But very quickly, obviously.
Well, exactly. And the notion of like at that speed going round, round the track, turning, like, of course, you're going to slow down a bit, but it was weird. Like, when you can't see and you're just, following an instruction, but then you're slamming your foot down, going at that speed. Yeah, it's amazing.
Brilliant. See, so you've got that slightly crazy gene in you as well, Ravini. It's just that it's cars, not planes.
Well, yeah, if you could put it like that.
That's beautiful.
How about anyone else? Anyone else got any crazy things that they may have done or would like to do after hearing from Jack and Mark and Chris?
Well, I used to paddle ski, but we don't really have that many. Only very much on the west coast and in the north do we have waves, because Belfast Loch's pretty flat, so that's unfortunate. So I kayak, but my most beautiful experience was paddle skiing in Cape Town and riding a wave, and I could hear all the kids and the noise from the beach, and then all of a sudden the wave curled over me. And for about like 10 or 15 seconds there was absolute silence, and that is possibly the most beautiful memory of doing something extraordinary that I just absolutely loved. And also perhaps snorkeling in Eilat and seeing the most exquisite fish, and just all these experiences here, just beautiful.
Yeah, I did snorkeling actually in Aden, and of course the corals and the beautiful parrotfish and the colours. Yeah, my goodness me, yeah, that was some good experiences.
Lovely. But I'd love to drive a car. I mean, wow, that is just. What freedom!
I mentioned at the very start, one of the activities weeks done by blind veterans was a driving experience. And I actually drove a tank, a 4-ton truck, a bike, go-kart, sand dune buggy, a personal hovercraft, and I missed out something actually. Quad bikes, and that was over a week. And I loved the hovercraft. That was fantastic.
Your endorphins must have been kicking around something crazy.
Jack, can I ask you a question, please?
Yeah,
I appreciate that's sort of not the standard, but You seem to have done so many really cool things, loads of experiences. Is there anything left actually to do that you would like to do? You seem to have done it all in my book, but I'm wondering if there's anything left.
Well, compared to you guys, I'm a pussycat.
Mark jumps out of planes. I think you're fine.
Well, I loved sailing actually, and I've done a couple of overnight trips to South Africa. The distance, of course, Kim is paddle skiing down in Cape Town, which is the Atlantic, which is bloody freezing. At least I'm in Durban, so with Indian Ocean, it's very, very warm. But I'm actually 1,000 miles apart, actually, between the two cities. Yeah, just every weekend, my son actually bought a 35-foot yacht and gave me the keys and said, there you are, Dad, just use the yacht. And I sailed it every weekend, and I skippered actually fishing boats as well. Yeah, I've had some
fantastic
good experiences. But also, I was very lucky to work for a company that had an Enstrom helicopter, a Piper Seneca, and a Cessna. And although I didn't fly myself, I used to visit a sawmill maybe once or twice a week in South Africa. And if the pilot was free, we would go up either in a helicopter, my choice, helicopter, which plane would you like today? And I did that for about 2 years. It was absolutely fantastic, especially flying over South Africa, the Valley of a Thousand Hills. Oh, wow. It is unbelievably scenic, actually, yeah.
I've also been in a helicopter, Jack, and over Clifton Beach and the Atlantic. I mean, sort of Camps Bay, Clifton, all is in Cape Town. Beautiful. Oh my God, like the 12 Apostle Mountains. It was magnificent.
Another experience I had actually was in the Far East with the British Army. I used to play in a big group called the Blackjacks. The Army, in their lack of wisdom, decided to sponsor a tour for the group. We went from Singapore to Borneo, Brunei, Labuan, and we played in riverboats. We were in helicopters, we were in planes. We played in little local villages, what they call hearts and minds. Yeah, I've had quite a few experiences actually. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway.
No, it's fantastic. It's so nice to hear about everyone's experiences and the different things that people have done. Some of the things I didn't even know you could do. So it's been really good listening to you all. Mark, is there anything that you think that you still have got left to do?
I haven't. One thing that I'm trying to rope our volunteers to do, I remember putting it out to the group a couple of years ago, I think just before when we went into lockdown, was whitewater rafting. I was trying to put together a team building whitewater rafting experience for all of us. I've never experienced that before, and that's something I've always wanted to do. So, and I think they have a whitewater rafting centre in North Wales. I think it's just not far from Wrexham, I think it is. And it's something that's something that I really love to do, and love to do it as a team as well, because it's very, very much team effort, and I think it would be actually quite amusing, a bunch of blind people bouncing down the river in a blow-up boat.
Not how much time you're going to spend in the boat, but yeah.
Well, that's it, yeah. Well, the choppier the better,
Something cold, I reckon, as well.
Yeah.
Well, you said team, Mark. You're part of the Retina UK team, so you might want to put that out at the next team meeting.
I think Denise was saying, yes, she's up for that. I think I saw her hand up there.
Denise is going to be skipper.
Yeah, maybe. Wrexham's not far from me, so do you know, I actually might be up for that one, more so than jumping out of a plane, but it has to be in the summer when it's not too cold.
Agreed.
No,
it's a lovely idea, Mark.
Yeah, there is not a lot that I'm thinking, what can I do now? Like literally, how can I raise the bar? But there are other skydives that I've got on my agenda to do, but again, it's going to be expense, because the next one is the only place I can do it is in New Zealand, which is an 18,000 foot drop, which is an oxygen controlled jump, which is still tandem, but you can only do it in sort of New Zealand. And then I found out from my instructor on my last jump that you go to Arizona, that you can actually do a tandem jump from 20,000 feet. So I've still got a few things on my to-do list. I'm not past it yet. I think I'll still be doing crazy stuff, well into, well, who knows, you know, well into me 70s, you know, if I'm still fighting fit, I'm not going to give up.
Beautiful.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Of course, you can't forget your other crazy stunt that you did last year, Mark. Mark used to have very, very long hair that he'd been growing for many, many years, and he had his head shaved at our training weekend last year, and he was actually talking. We decided probably risk assessment didn't lend itself to this, but he was actually talking about letting one of his volunteer friends with no sight actually do the shaving, but we thought maybe a blind person with a razor close to Mark's face wasn't a good idea.
I was still up for the challenge though, Denise. I was like, go on,
I know.
go for it. Yeah,
Fine. It was like, hold on, no, stop.
I can live without one ear. I can still live with it. But, you know, I was best of the spare. But yeah, and to be quite, that was probably one of the scariest things I think I've ever done, and most nerve-wracking, to be quite honest, because Caroline ended up shaving it all off for us, and she did a really, really good job. But again, it was for an amazing cause. The hair went to the Little Princess Trust, who make hair pieces for kids that have got leukemia and going through chemotherapy. So it just gives them a little bit of confidence and self-esteem back when they've lost all their hair at such an early age. So, you know, I just thought, well, rather than it going straight in the bin, and there was enough of it, there must have been a good 12 inches of hair.
Oh, wow.
It was long hair, Mark. It was long. It was
well done, Mark. That's fantastic, especially to give it to such a good cause and raise money.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Well done.
Awesome. Well done.
What's
Beautiful.
funny is, Mark, you say that was the most scariest thing you've ever done.
Yeah, had a haircut.
I've had it
terrified, Davini. It was not even somebody who can't see coming near him with a razor. That didn't scare him. It was like, oh my God, I'm losing all my hair that I've been part of me for so long.
Yeah, some of us are jealous, Mark. Some of us don't have the option to do that. Audio description, there isn't much on top of me.
There isn't on Mark anymore, Chris.
No, it is growing back, but it's just growing back very, very slowly.
Growing back? Oh, he's showing off now, isn't he? My hair grows back. It isn't all grey like Chris's. Yeah, okay.
A lot of people say to me, "Oh, you look so much more grown up with short hair." So I might.
So you're growing it long?
No, I'll probably keep it short now. You know, I'll keep it kind of. I don't know what the people need to find out what the hairstyles are of a 40-year-old nowadays, because I have no idea. Caroline just goes, print a picture out of Chris Hemsworth or Chris Evans or something like that, you know, and just go, I want that one, because it means no odds to me. I haven't seen my reflection in like 2 years, so it's just what everybody else thinks, you know, of what. Or some of you actually mentioned a mohawk, like do a David Beckham mohawk for my next fundraising challenge.
You're fine to me, Mark, but there's not a compliment there, really, is there?
Mark, your hair looks great.
Thank you.
Notice Denise hasn't said anything yet. She's keeping quiet as a sighted one.
Talking about that, actually, Mark, you know, you mentioned something there, like, you know, knowing what's in trend at the moment when you can't see like fashion and stuff like that. How do all of you like cope and manage and sort of shop and maybe style your hair like for your age perhaps, or what you're into? Like how do you all do that? Or
Good
is it
hairdresser?
Yeah.
Caroline, I think Caroline, she makes a lot of the decisions for us, especially like colour coding, and I've got one of the colour things that tells you what colour your clothes are, but half the time when you're trying to pick out a colour, it says all three colours on all of the different things you're trying to pick out. So I thought, well, you're no help. So I say to Caroline, is this black? Is this blue? Does this go all right? You know, does my hair look good? You know, that type of thing. Yeah, it's and things like apps like Be My Eyes and stuff like that. They're very good for. I don't know about fashion advice, but they'll definitely know whether your tie matches your shirt, or or you've got odd socks on or something like that. It's those services are very good. And just WhatsApp video just to a friend or a relative or something like that. Can you help me find this? I'm always doing that with Caroline. Does this look all right? Or so it's like I think what Chris was saying about technology advancing to help us out. But I have no idea what the fashion trend is. Otherwise, I'll just go back to the 90s and I'll grow it back into curtains. Like I'll try and rock a Backstreet Boys look, a bit of a Nick Carter look. I don't know if I'll be able to pull that off at 40.
Yeah.
Nick, oh my gosh, yeah, you take me back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because yeah, exactly like you. I've got my husband to sort of tell me if this matches or if it looks all right, and then I'll go and ask my daughters, and they're like, "Mom, why are you trying to dress like a 20-year-old?" So I'm in my 40s as well, so it's contradictory advice.
So your husband tells you to dress like a 20-year-old. That's interesting.
That's interesting,
Yeah,
too much information.
There.
Much information.
Oh, he's in trouble.
Yep.
No daily occurrence being a husband. I'm used to that.
The other thing I wanted to sort of check in with everyone. So we've spoken for the last few months about moving to a face-to-face meeting. And obviously, the uncertainty about COVID and when it's going to be safe to do so. And at the last meeting, we thought we'll let March pass and May will move towards having potentially a hybrid meeting where some of those who may find it still not okay to travel, but we still need to look into that. And just wondered, does anyone have ideas, or how do people feel now about having a face-to-face meeting? It's something that we're really looking to kind of move towards. Do people feel comfortable with that? For those that can travel to London.
I think that's great. I feel I think face-to-face meetings are fine at the moment. Maybe some people don't think that, but I mean, I'm traveling I've had COVID and I know you can get it twice, but as long as you don't go too close to people. But I suppose it's different on the tube in London because you are forced to go quite close to people.
Yeah, and there is recommendations to continue wearing your face coverings if you're able to. But again, how many people keep to that is a different story.
Yeah, have you got experience of that recently, Bhavini?
So say that again, sorry?
Have you got experience of that recently in London?
Yeah, I was out yesterday, and I was with my husband, and he was like, nobody was wearing it apart from us two. Like nobody, literally, in the whole two carriages that he could see.
Yeah, because I've been to London to some sporting events, and there haven't been any that I've seen. Sorry, Antonio, go on, what are you going to say?
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to say, because I travel quite regularly in London because I go into the office, and definitely agree that lots of people aren't really wearing face masks at the moment. But I think one of the things with the tube is because the doors open really regularly, the ventilation is quite good, and there's the windows between the carriages. So I've been traveling on the tube quite regularly throughout the pandemic and haven't got COVID ever, which doesn't necessarily mean that it's impossible to get COVID from the tube. But I think that it's not super safe, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's markedly more dangerous than, for example, being in like a cafe or a restaurant or something like an indoor enclosed space. Just because, the ventilation can be worse in some of those places than it is on the tube.
Yeah, no, you definitely got a point there. I mean, Mark, I know we had a conversation about starting to look for venues. Either do we, because previously these meetings were held in a pub, in a room at the top of a pub, or in like a meeting room, and just looking what people would prefer. Would a meeting room be more kind of, as a first step, then moving on to somewhere else. You know, we're just looking for ideas on what people thought and what they would kind of prefer. Of course, it depends on availability and things like that. But, you know, we just want to make sure that, you know, we are choosing the right things.
Well, from feedback that I've got from one of the speakers that were at the London group, they did actually give me some very, very, very good feedback to say that particular location was too noisy because it was an open mezzanine floor. It was too noisy from the from obviously the people from down below because it was a pub. I think it would be best if we wanted to have a quiet meeting in a meeting room. You mentioned try to keep it sort of around the King's Cross area. That's quite close to main transport links. So, excuse me. So I can look around sort of you've got the Friends, Quaker Friends meeting house that's quite close to there. There are certain sort of small hotels that do meeting room for hire. And we have just, the Manchester meeting, we've actually got the restaurant area booked out because the meeting room was full up on the day that we scheduled it. They said, well, what we'll do is we'll cordon off some of the restaurant area. It's not usually that busy on a Saturday afternoon because everybody's out and about. So you can hold your meeting there and you can have lunch at our venue as well. And that was in a hotel that was about 5 minutes from Manchester Victoria Station. So it's, at the end of the day, it's literally trial and error. When you get a new venue, you won't know whether it's going to be easy to get to, whether it's going to be convenient, whether you've picked the right day, you know. But we'll try and keep to the Saturday at the same time on a Saturday. I have actually been speaking to our fundraising team to see about whether we can try and get. In the last meeting, we had Ishan from VIP World that with their travel hand service. And I will be speaking to Ishan. I did leave a message with his secretary to see whether he would be interested in collaborating with Retina UK and the London local peer group to see whether they can facilitate helping our attendees get to the venue safely and without kind of incident, you know. And I think that may ensure people or reinsure people that they've got support if they need, because a lot of people, it's not just COVID, people are just loss of confidence. They may have not used their cane in a while. They might just still be afraid, not of catching COVID, but just traveling in general. So we're going to try and partner with them and see whether they can actually support us with our first face-to-face meeting on the 21st of May. So hopefully they're going to come back with some good news. Like I say, I'm in talks with both fundraising and VIP World on that respect. And I'm not sure what you think of that.
No, I think that would be really, really good. Like, you know, we heard from members at the last meeting, actually, there was a mixture. Some are really, really looking forward to meeting everyone face to face. Some not so much, and that was because of COVID, and the others because of the lack of confidence, because you know, they've just been at home for the last couple of years. So I think that would be a really good shout.
I think being it's going to be May, you know, it's going to be sort of much warmer weather. We're trying to sort of encourage people to come out more, you know, and do the face-to-face meeting. I was at the Somerset one a couple of Mondays ago, and we had a really good turnout. It was the first meeting in 2 years that the collaboration between Somerset site and Retina UK have hosted. And there was 22 attendees. There was 27 altogether, but there was 22 attendees that came with all different types of sight loss as well. So I think people are gradually starting to want to venture out again. So it will be, you know, and hopefully in May, people's understanding of COVID, you know, acceptance that obviously life has to carry on. And that's probably why a lot of people are not wearing masks as much now. It's because, you know, they just want to get back to some sort of normality and not have this wearing masks, social distancing looming over them, when all they want to do is get back to socialise with their friends, with their colleagues, with their family, use public transport. just, you know, just resume normal life again. So it will happen gradually, but hopefully by May we might be in a much better position.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, and and actually I am looking forward to meeting everyone face to face. You know, I think it will be good. And like you say, hope. Well, we say hope the weather will be much nicer. Hopefully, it will be. You know, you can never tell. But yeah, no, definitely. And if anyone's got ideas for like speakers, you know, if there's anything in particular that you think that you'd like to know more about, whether it's you know, to do with your condition, whether it's research, like clinical stuff, whether it's you know, anything, you know, we're always open to ideas and suggestions. So you can let us know here in the chat, or you can email the team at the services at retinauk.org.uk email address. So, you know, we're always open for ideas and suggestions. The other thing, I think, was someone going to come in there? I wasn't sure.
Oh no, I just said that's great. That's really nice
sorry,
to know.
sorry.
And also traveling is opening up.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. The other thing we kind of I wanted to sort of mention, and Denise, I'm going to put you on the spot here, was about the survey. I don't know if everyone knows about the survey Retina UK have launched. No? Denise, can you share more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I was gonna sort of ask if I could talk about that. So that's great. Thank you, Bhavini. We're on the same track. Yeah, we've just for those of you who receive our Look Forward magazine, I'm sure you've seen information about it. But back in 2019, we did a Retina UK sight loss survey with people living with our conditions, and it gave us such a lot of information and insight into all sorts of things that we'd asked about. And not only did the information that we get back form a really good basis for our work over the last couple of years, we were able to really listen to our community and what it was that they wanted and needed, what information they needed more about, and that type of thing. But it also helped to really focus our community's voice in different ways. So, you know, it's always the same, isn't it? One voice, you know, sort of doesn't often get heard. When voices come together, it can make a real difference. We're often contacted by pharmaceutical companies for numerous things, to just find out, you know, sort of for people living with conditions, what, you know, sort of what areas that they want more information about in terms of research and all of that type of thing. And of course, the big thing that happened just after we'd done the survey was that all of a sudden there was a treatment that had got through clinical trial stage and was ready to be pushed out for approval for use on the NHS. And it's just one treatment for a very rare form of one of our conditions, but it was the very first one. This was, you know, mind-blowing to those of us in our community, that actually, if this one, we can get this one pushed through nice, then it sets a precedent for future, you know, sort of hopefully, you know, sort of when future research comes to fruition. And one of the things that was a stage that the pharmaceutical that created this treatment had to go through was to make sure that NICE saw it as being good value for money. Otherwise, it was there, you could pay for it privately, but you wouldn't be able to get it on the NHS. So that whole process was quite a detailed thing for them to go through. And they approached us and asked us to be the voice of the patients, because we needed to provide information as to what difference it would make to patients living with our conditions. And because we just had the evidence from that survey, we were able to play a really good part in getting that done. So having the evidence, having the people involved in the surveys really makes a tangible difference to our community as a whole. So we did it in 2019 and we're redoing it again now, 2022. So a lot of the questions are going to be similar. We want to track whether some of the work we've done, has it made a difference? You know, that's important for us to know if we're on the right track. But there's some new questions. So what we're going to do is when as hopefully as many people as possible that are living with our conditions will get involved, get the survey completed, get it back to us. The survey is available to do online. You can ask for a paper version, an audio version, or you can contact the office and arrange for somebody to actually help you to complete it. So you can work with a volunteer that they can sort of interview, ask her the questions and do it that way. So there's lots of ways to do it. We had just under 1,000 people last time. We hope to get many, many more this time. We really want to reach as many people as possible. Diverse backgrounds, different age groups. We really noticed last time that the typical respondent was sort of white British and certain age groups. We want to reach more age groups. We know what conditions affect people right across the age groups. We know we're one of the biggest causes of sight loss in working age people for a start. So we want to make sure that we're reaching the younger demographic, that lots of people with different experiences, backgrounds, the different range of our conditions. So it's any inherited retinal dystrophy, so any inherited conditions such as RP, choroideremia, Usher's, Stargardt's, juvenile macular conditions, Leber's congenital amaurosis. There's a whole host of conditions that we cover. We want to hear from people for any of those, because it's only by getting people to tell us what their experiences have been, where their knowledge gaps are, that we can really start to make a difference in the work we do. We don't sit here in an ivory tower and think, oh, I know what our community needs. They need that. That will never work. You need to speak up and tell us, what is it? We're here for you. And it's only by us doing this type of thing that we can really hit the mark. So please, if you haven't heard about it, visit our website, give us a call, email us, and we'll send you the information, but get involved. It'll be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Denise. Yeah, exactly. Please do fill out the survey. And if you think you haven't got the link or information about the survey, get in touch and just let the team know what your preferred format is. And the more people we get responses from, the better, I guess. And just on that, I just wanted to just sort of check in. Does anyone have something they want to share or just ask a question? Usually we do go one-to-one. Sometimes we don't need to. But I want to make sure that everyone's had an opportunity to ask a question, something that might have been bugging them, or just want to share something. So it's really up to you guys.
It's Sandra.
Yeah, hi Sandra.
Are we mentioning anything about the conference that's coming up?
Oh yeah, good shout. Denise, or Mark, can I pass that on to you?
I'm happy to take that one. Yeah, we're currently working on our conference. We are holding it this year. We're doing something different. We're doing a hybrid one. So we are doing it face-to-face in Birmingham, which is going to be Saturday she says it's either the 8th. We're doing one on the 8th.
9th of July, isn't it?
The 9th, Saturday the 9th. Yes, we're doing a professionals one on Friday the 8th. I get confused with my dates. So Saturday the 9th of July, and it's being held at the Burlington Hotel in Birmingham, which is right opposite the train station. It couldn't be any closer. Come out of the station doors and it's literally over the road. It's a lovely venue. It's really nice if you fancy coming up and visiting Birmingham for a day or make a weekend of it. It's a great city. And if you can't make it, then we are live streaming it for the first time. So we always record them that you can see afterwards, but actually live streaming so you can be involved on the day, which we're really excited about. So so please, one way or another, join us. It's going to be a great day. We're just working on the programs at the moment. We have some confirmed really good speakers. We've got a lady called Dr. Mary Thurston, And she's a senior lecturer up at Abertay University in Scotland, and she lectures on, she's counselling lecturer, but she does a lot of work and a lot of research on the emotional impacts of sight loss. And she's living with RP herself. She's a great speaker.
Wow.
And she's brilliant. We've had a number of meetings with her. She's very active in the sight loss sector, about working with clinicians and other professionals to identify and normalize the conversations. It's not just about eyes, people. You know, there's a whole person sitting here behind your eyes that you're examining. You know, we need to be asking how people are feeling and how people are doing. You know, the physical and emotional health go hand in hand. And when people are feeling emotionally, you know, well, then they're more likely to embrace some of the things that we've been talking about today, things that make life easier. When you're not in a good, you know, emotional state, then it's not hard to adapt those things. So she's going to be talking about that. We're going to be, dare I say, heads up here, launching something that we've been working on to help people with their emotional well-being, which we're really excited about. And there's a number of other things. So we're hoping to get one of our clinicians to come along and talk a little bit about research and clinical trials. So it's going to be a full, really interesting day. Something for everyone, we hope.
Is registration open for that, Denise, or not yet?
Yeah, registration is open. So please get onto our, and again, we'll send the links out, Bhavini, when we send details out. We can get the links included for both the survey and the conference as well.
Yeah, no, that would be good. Thanks, Sandra, for that heads up on that. Anybody else? No. Did Joan manage to join us in the end, or?
No, she came in for a short time and then I think she lost connection again, so unfortunately not.
Yeah, no, okay, that's fine. No, nobody else have anything else they want to share or discuss?
No, I would just like to say thank you to everyone, and Mark and Chris, you really are an inspiration. You've done some incredible things, but it's nice to hear other people, what they've done and what they're capable of doing. And you've just got to push yourself all the time, basically.
Likewise,
I enjoyed that. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Likewise, Jack. You've done a lot of the things that I would love to have a go at, especially the yachting and the sailing. I'd be very interested in to learn what that business is that can take a blind person out on a boat. You know, that's something that I would really love to have a go on, or experience. So, you know,
well, Mark, you'll find it on the internet. Visa GB, VISA, Visa GB. I normally get an email maybe once every 2 or 3 months. It normally takes. The last one I did was actually in April in Galston near Glasgow. The last day we had ice in the boat. It was pretty cold. But they supply all your gear and stuff, apart from the sleeping bag and your personal stuff for the week. And it was very interesting because we go out in little sort of fleets of 6 boats, and every night we're like sardines. We sort of raft up, sort of head to toe sort of thing, and every boat sponsors a party. It could be a shipwreck party or a tramps party or something. It is such a social, it's a beautiful, lovely week as well. You don't sail overnight. You can do. Some of the crews from Cornwall sail to the Scilly Isles, but generally it's a day sail, and you're in well before dark, and it's fun.
No, something. I'm not that far from Southampton, so you know, if they sail from there, or you know, I'm pretty sure Dover or wherever around Kent where they might be able to moor off from. You know, it'd be something that it's to tick off that to-do list. You know, I've gone out and I've done that and I've experienced it. I love the ocean as much as I love
it actually.
The sky and everything like that. I do love the ocean, but you just don't get to experience it enough. You know, all of these like what Kim was saying about paddle boarding and you surfing and everything like that. If I lived closer to the ocean, I would be in it all the time. But but it's when you get these opportunities to do these visually impaired activities, it just means that, you know, you can still go out and enjoy yourself.
Of course, yeah.
Cool. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks.
And thanks to all the newbies that joined us today. I hope you come back again. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so
Could I
much.
ask a question? Could I quickly
Of course
before
you
we
can.
go?
Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
you know for the conference in Birmingham? Are they, when people come, say for example, if I was coming over, is there a particular hotel that we could stay too close to the venue, or is there any of that kind of information that's provided by Retina UK?
We can do, Kim. I can let you know a couple of them. I mean, obviously there's the hotel itself.
Of course.
It's probably not the cheapest place to stay because it's a bit fancy.
Right.
Directly opposite, there is a Premier Inn, which is really convenient. And I think that can get expensive, but we were looking the other day and it's not bad prices at the moment. So it's the Premier Inn, New Street Station, and it is literally sort of above the station, but really good soundproofed. I've stayed there and you don't hear trains, it's okay. But that's just opposite. So there's a couple of different ones around there. Birmingham is actually quite a compact city. It's quite easy to get around with a good tram system. So if you were to come over, yeah, the Burlington is where it's being held, and the Premier in New Street is the one that's just opposite, which is a great venue.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
And
it's been wonderful.
For anybody else who's coming, we will have people stationed at New Street Station to help make sure that you're okay getting over to the venue. So we'll have people assisting and, you know, sort of standing there with a banner and, you know, waving flags and to make sure that we find you and help to get you over safely to the venue as well.
And for people that are new to Retina UK, please sign up to receive our newsletter and our look forward. It will just keep you up to date with all the local peer groups that are being relaunched, either existing and new, over the next 6 months. Some are in face-to-face and some are online. You know, if you can make the face-to-face one, brilliant. You know, it doesn't have to be in your area, and the same goes for the online ones as well. There's a wealth of knowledge and information. Some may be specific to that region, but if we get speakers in, for example, the guide dogs, which we've got coming to speak at our Scotland meeting and our Belfast meeting, they will have like lots of information that you might be able to find out in your area as well. We also have, please check out our website as well, retinauk.org.uk. Where we have lots of information regarding research, our other information and support services, like the Talk and Support service, which is a one-to-one service, and also obviously local peer groups as well, and also our helpline, which you can contact 9:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night, Monday to Friday, and the telephone number for that is 0300 111 4000, or you can call the office, which is 01280 821 334 if you've got any questions that you want to ask the office or help with the survey as well. Oh, someone just
yeah, I got a notification.
Someone's just entered.
Rekha?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is it Rekha? Have I pronounced it correctly?
Rita?
Yes, it's Rekha.
Hi, Rekha. You're just joining the Retina UK local group, is that right?
Yes.
We did actually start. I'm not sure about your notification. We did actually start the meeting at 11.
I know. I was a bit late. Okay,
it's okay. It's all right. You're welcome. Don't worry. We have recorded it. So any information you've missed, you can catch up on. We'll send it out to you. Don't worry.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
It will be available on YouTube. So we'll send the link out to that so you can re-listen to it at your own leisure.
Okay, not to worry.
But if you've got any questions or anything that you want to ask the group or anything like that?
No, I just wanted to listen to it. That's it. It's just listening.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, we're planning. Sorry, it's Pavini here. We'll definitely, because we're coming towards the end of the meeting, but we have, like Denise and Marco said, we have recorded it, so you can listen back to what was discussed. We were just talking about the Retina UK conference in July. We'll share information out about that in the email. About the survey. So we were just talking about different things, but you will have the recording and the links to the information about the things that were discussed today. But hopefully you can join us in May. We will be meeting, we're trying to arrange a face-to-face meeting in May and see if we can try, at the moment we don't know, but see if we can try and do a hybrid one where people can join us face-to-face and online to see if that's possible. But I'm glad you could join us even for a short while today.
Yeah, it was okay. Thank you.
No, that's absolutely fine. Does anyone else have anything that they want to share or ask before we go today? No?
I just want to say thank you for doing such a good job of chairing it, Vinny, and advertising it. And obviously, thank you to Mark for his great stories and all the stuff he's done. Amazing. And
thank you
well
so much.
And,
thank you. Thanks, Denise, as well. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I hope we get to do some in-person ones in May. Fingers crossed. That'd be good to meet people in 3D rather than 2D. 2D is better than nothing, but I prefer 3D.
Oh, good feedback. Thanks, Chris. This is the feedback we kind of we need. You know, we want to know where people are, where they're at with meeting up with people. You know what? Because if we find somewhere where we can do it and you still want to social distance or you still want to wear face masks, we can still have certain things in place to make you guys feel more comfortable and protected. While, you know, things like hand sanitizer out on each table, you know, we can make tables separate from, you know, from each other. So but we need your input, we need your feedback. So at the email that we do send out, there will be a short there will be a link to a quick survey, feedback survey with, you know, what you thought of this meeting, any improvements, you know, where you want to go moving forward. So the more information and feedback that we can get, then we can provide a really good local peer support group for you guys. Because like Denise said, we are here for you to support you with all the things that you need assistance with, you know, and advice as well.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, everyone, and hope you all have a lovely weekend.
Have a nice weekend, everyone.
You too.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks all.
We hope you have enjoyed this recording. If you have any questions, queries, or wish to leave any feedback, then please leave it in the comment section below. Alternatively, you can send your inquiries to info@retinauk.org.uk. Contact us via the telephone on 01280 821 334 or call our helpline on 0300 111 4000, which is open Monday to Friday 9:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. If you would like to know more about our local peer groups, when your next meeting will be held, or if you wish to get involved in creating your own group, or would like to know more about our services that Retina UK provides, then please visit our information and support page on our website www.retinauk.org.uk and navigate to our local peer group page. Thanks again for listening. We hope to see you again soon. Take care and bye for now.